Okay. So I'll be playing the Beginner's Guide. This time I'm using my phone as a mic instead because my mic has huge background noise and doesn't really work that well. And I'm using a gain filter on all of the audio, so it should be better. Okay. Just make sure that it's working. Huge background noise. Okay, seems like it's working. So, let's go. Yes, the audio's on. I will not be looking at chat, except for maybe at the very end. So, it's basically just a YouTube video, except it's live, and except it's unedited.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
It is unconfirmed.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
That's a weird
Now, these games mean a lot to me.
Okay, sorry.
I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Is that really a
walk
game?
Around here, by the way.
He didn't make Counter-Strike.
Mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this?
Ruin the aesthetic
this is what I like about all of Coda's games.
Of the town.
I mean,
I think the
not
textures
that they're all
ruin the aesthetic
fascinating
of
as
the town.
games, but
Wow,
that they
that's weird.
are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008. Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made.
Okay, I'm gonna check to make sure the audio is correct.
And they'd sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood
this
image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important...
Okay, should be fine. Looks like there's a skip button.
One day,
That's interesting.
he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work.
But then again, I stopped literally everything I do
his games powerful
after like
and interesting,
a few weeks.
And I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him
days
to start
minimum,
creating again.
And then I do something else.
And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me
I bet this would be a really bad level for Counter-Strike.
WREDEN@gmail.com.
This is a really bad.
Okay, that's about it for introduction.
Small.
Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game.
By proper,
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Ah. Perspective is a little off.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Okay, perspective is a little off though. Although I'd rather it be super like rectangular and tall. I'd rather like the doorways be taller than more square. It'd be better to get the perspective correct.
Security hole breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Wow.
But ultimately we don't really know.
It has sights,
Maybe
but you
Coda
can't
thought
use
that
them.
actually it was complete the way that it is.
That's pretty weird.
And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Yeah, I would not have allowed this to happen. If I made it, you would not be able to see that. Well, yeah, okay. Evacuate immediately. There we go. It's a maze.
Apparently the
mazes.
space station has a labyrinth on it.
I'm good at mazes.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time,
no.
I'm just gonna skip you on past
I
it.
want to do it. No.
Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Yeah, I found a secret. Okay, this is boring. I like how you can jump. It's not like in the Stanley Parable. Okay.
Okay, this is
Weird
the part that's
to
interesting.
exist.
The game has this narrative about the Whisper Machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room.
You
You
were?
could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
Not really sure if that's a thing.
Your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Let me pause here for a
This
second.
doesn't sound like anything
What you
stops
just
me.
experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Probably.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay. This feels unlikely. I don't see any reason for this to happen from a developer perspective.
The beam causes you
Although-
to start floating.
One time I was making
And
a
this is
VR
an important
game,
moment for him.
and then there's
Because
like
yes, this is
a thing you
technically
could step
a glitch,
up onto,
but
and if you
Coda
do something
identifies
weird,
something
you
human
can
about
fall
it.
through
Like
the map.
how small it makes you feel in the face of this
But, like-
larger chaotic system.
Like it's only like the
Or this
camera.
floating could be the afterlife.
It's really
a
annoying.
peaceful place, juxtaposed
And it kind of
against all
it
of
kind
the
of caused me
hysteria
to
that you've
rage
just had to
quit making
traverse.
that VR game.
I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one
I
behind.
have no idea what could cause the player to start levitating here. Okay.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Interesting.
So it's a short and
Future
relatively
cannot be
minimalist
seen.
experiment combining motion and narrative.
Why does the future keep
It is less
changing?
advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice
When
rather
she
than simply
stops and
basing it on a
looks,
pre-existing
It
trope.
becomes clearer. I think portals and Source are a neat gag, but not very interesting, I guess. If the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it
Okay.
wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more
Interesting.
than that. which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay.
So you're saying if I make a game where you can only move right, then I'd be a really good developer? Okay. I can do that. You are now entering. Beautiful.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put
That's
bizarre
sincerely
titles
every
like this
direction.
one at the start of his games.
Okay, just so we know what the game would be
I
about.
wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but...
Can you hear the
what are
flute in
you
the
gonna
background? I can. And it really makes me want to soundproof my room.
do? Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's
Oh, that
not
was a
showing
door
his games
sound.
to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
One day I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna see how long it takes to get up there, if it's possible. Not now though. Stand on an X staring at a bear for 3 hours. Whoa. Live on a boat taking orders from the captain. The captain is always wrong. That sounds
A
interesting
room that's warm
to me.
and nice.
You must address and
and
rally
full
a
of
group
little
of eager
ideas for
press
games.
reporters. A stranger appears. You run a shop inside of your own body, selling
Coda would
your
often tell me
organs
that he didn't mind
strategically
if people thought of him
strategically
as
to
cold
make
or
the most
distant.
money before you
He
die.
said that he knew that he was actually
A
a
game
vibrant
only
and
of
compassionate
motivational
person,
quotes placed
but that it takes
one
time to
after
really see that.
the other while the player
It
cannot
can
move.
be a very slow climb to get there.
Game where you collect items, except the game automatically quits when you collect them all. Hey, I was reading. Ready, set, fish. Okay, interesting aesthetic.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Yeah, it's a...
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're going to
So I
see it
think-
a lot.
This puzzle is supposed to represent closing off something and not being able to go back because you can't go back because the lever is on the other side of the wall. But really, there was right before this door, there was a drop and you can't go back up, I think. So really, all you needed was that. You don't need the door. Yeah, like this. Can't go back. Can't go back.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm
Yeah.
going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Why can't you just remove all the walls from the room? Yeah, that seems a little excessive.
How about that?
One
There
day
was
I'm
more
gonna
to
no
it than we
clip
had
and
any
then I'm
way of
gonna
knowing. I
look
actually
for all
find it
this.
funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And
I
then,
think the-
in this level,
the outer
a dull
ones
interior hides this fantastic
Are actually
outer
staircases.
world.
I think they're just like a
Either
skybox
way,
or
I
something.
think that the point is the same.
But the ones
Is
that actually
most
have,
of the
like,
time,
textures
you don't
are real.
get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role.
I haven't seen any fishing here.
So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Said it would remove the outer walls. Okay. You're now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow.
Why though?
It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a
Why
bigger
though?
picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
He could have just been testing like a shader or something. The Great and Lovely Descent. Or Lonely, I don't know, I'm having problems reading for some reason. I'm probably just tired.
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
I know all about
Every video game
development.
runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do.
Yeah, I made
So
a
in other
3D game
words,
in
the engine
JavaScript.
is a
Looks
set of
super horrible.
tools for game development.
Can't go in here. Okay.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source.
Some
Like
think
all
it's outdated.
engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and
But
it
I
has
think it's
certain
actually,
things that it does poorly.
Easier.
One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the
I always
engine
think it's
does
interesting
well.
when the doors like turn your camera and push you. It's
The
really
tools
weird.
available to the creator
I don't think I've
shape
ever
what
seen
kinds
that
of
in any
creative
other
work they're going to
game
end up
engine.
making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
I suppose. Wow. Whoa. Okay, didn't even do that on purpose. Yeah, you can't go up. I think it's very interesting how only this like row of cells has an elevator.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind,
Interesting.
I think we're gonna skip that.
I guess. I mean, you can't go out.
This is
You can't
something
go
that
out
he
the
and I used
sides.
to argue about a lot. You know,
That's clearly a
whether a
design
game
flaw.
ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it.
And that door just
And I would always
disappeared.
defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played
Wow.
every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
We're back outside again. How'd that happen? Skybox seems to be really powerful.
It's the
Skybox
puzzle
seems to be
again,
really powerful.
with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear
Interesting
indication
thing
of
about
what
these
makes
levers.
this puzzle so special that
Looks
Coda
like
is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Must have just been like a one-off glitch. Okay. Well, in one of the previous games, I managed to like flip the lever twice, and it's weird. You there? Did you come from
Here,
above?
Coda begins
What was-
using a kind of
what was up
dialogue
there?
system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. That's the world above. You've been there. This is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, it was literally the last thing I did before I came here. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. None of these really fit, but I'm gonna do 3. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. You understand? It's important. It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I didn't get to read that. Okay. Earlier I was talking about like perspective or something, or shape of doorways. In my 3D game I made in JavaScript, it looks super purple. It like changes when you get closer or farther from walls. Whatever. Hello, how did you get here? Is there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes. Do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the black space between the doors far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Why would I care about the black space between doors? Actually, not even mention it. I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. Don't call it the black space between the doors. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll visit it again soon. Be sure to pay close attention.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Hit the wrong thing on my phone. It's from the beginning of the game.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer. So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too. At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Mic just broke.
After exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Mic just broke.
After exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution,
Okay, so it looks like the app has to be, you have to be in the app in order for it to work, maybe. Okay, no you don't. So I'm just showing it to my private Discord. My right ear is dirt. My right ear is ringing. Okay, this isn't working. I'll just do it on my PC. Okay, there we go. Share button. Okay, sorry about that. Keep going. Okay, so, I probably missed a lot of we probably missed a lot of dialogue there. Does this puzzle have a solution? OMG literally been here for an hour. Help. How do you solve it? Developer answers, please. This doesn't make any sense. Second door won't open. Help.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before
Guys,
you
it's
move
not so
on,
bad
you
in
get
here.
to pause.
Heading back to the start.
Just for a moment.
No answer, I think.
A few
No
seconds to
solution.
reflect on and let go
There's no
of the
second
events
switch.
that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
And the one guy who actually solved it, or at least the one imaginary character that actually solved it. How do you leave notes? And for some reason there's a lot of typewriters here. Whoa, that was creepy. Sounded like there's someone laughing right next to me. I think these typewriters may be supposed to symbolize, like, writing the notes or something, I don't know. And here's the elusive lamppost. Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. What?
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
So there's a well over there with no bucket. It's like a prison, but it looks like a living room or something. Okay. This reminds me of the nuke map from Call of Duty, one of those ones I play at my friend's house. Yeah. On some of the houses. Oh,
See, like,
the bottom
this
of
is
the well.
it, the whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about
And
it.
now we're
You
trapped
just
here.
walk to the end of a hallway. Except
And get
for
trapped
some
in a
reason,
well.
Coda gets really fixated on this prison
Empty
that
well.
has all of this modern furniture.
No bucket.
And I don't know why, but he decides he
And
needs
gravel.
to revisit this prison. He's going to start
And
over, use the
plant
same
life.
assets, turn it into something else.
Why not?
Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Assets are hard to come by. Interesting. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? TV. That's not a TV with surround sound. How about along the wall of the room? How about 10 stoves lined up along the wall? Doesn't look like stoves. I can't cook my pizza on this. How do you think we should light up the room? A skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open a... I'm thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. We'll put live Tesla coils in each corner. Yeah, that's totally not going to burn the building down or electrocute anyone. And a perfect lighting solution. We have a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? Pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Tables were invented in 1935. Yep. Wow.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Why not? Weird is cool, I guess.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. You know, I never figured out how to get text to appear on the screen when I was making maps in Portal 2. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully, and... oh, I missed that. First, click on this table. Good, go over to the photo frame, and click to turn it slightly. Okay. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Now go to the left side stuff and move it over a little. Finally touch the shelves. Oh. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start and to be taken back to your prison. Return.
And of course,
So first click
now
on the
the
table.
is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
There's also no photo frame.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the
I
prison
wanna
is
touch
the
the-
outside and the
I wanna
outside
try.
is the inside.
Whoa.
Let me just blink you real
He
quick.
clearly doesn't know how to use the guy
He
boxes.
really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To
Why?
see a person basically unraveling through their work.
He's just
And
doing
for what?
things.
Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda
He's just
doesn't
trying
have
things.
that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so
He's
he keeps
just
going,
trying
and
things
going,
out.
and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Who said games have to work? No sprint in this game. Also, it's a different key. Like in Hello Neighbor. Hello? Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in prison too?
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
And so this
Yeah.
is what Coda wants, is
That's
to be
where I
able to
am
talk
now.
to someone, to share what's on his mind,
Oh, I'm so
and
glad
to get some
to
good
know
advice
that
from
I
someone
can
who
get out
knows.
eventually. What's it like to escape?
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
It's strange. Why? Is there anything that I felt being here sucks? True, maybe I only like things once I don't have them anymore. It was comfortable, I knew its limits, I knew my place. But don't you feel excited about getting out? Excited. It's the only thing that matters to me. It's the only thing that keeps me going. Excited just doesn't really do it justice. Exactly, have something you care about, something to look forward to. You won't always have something that you just for a bit, or just be with that enthusiasm for a bit. that one. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No. Then can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? I don't know what that means, actually. What? That will free me? How does that work? It will make sense. Very
I can see
interesting.
why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, that's what lucid dreaming is
So what would
for,
it
not
look like
game
if Coda
development.
wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
That's weird.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
So, just walked into someone's house. Hello, clean. Well, my goodness. I'm glad I was all happy that you showed up tonight. Wait. Thought I might have to be cleaning this entire house all by myself. And right miserable that would have been.
You'll notice
Everyone
that the
knows
quality of
lonesome
the art is a
hands
step
make
up
lousy
from previous
homes.
games, including this.
Don't worry about
new
me.
chat
A
system,
place this
which he
nice, I'll be
started
glad to
using
stay
from
here all
this point
night.
on. From here on out,
And
he
lousy
begins putting
homes
much
make
more effort into the
home
visual
loner.
polish of his work, and this
Or cleaning his
particular
whole
game
place.
took 2 months to create as a result.
Well, now, you might just be getting a little ahead of yourself there, no? Why don't we start cleaning, then you decide. Then you decide whether you could do it all night. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now, would you please run to the bedroom and make the bed? While you're there, why don't you straighten the rug a bit? All the little details matter. You enjoy being a housekeeper? Well, I don't enjoy it as so much as I need it. While I'm working, I feel kind of calm that rests in the pit of my ribcage. My soul just can't be soothed any other way, it seems. Which I guess is all that matters. Oh, and the couch. And a tidy couch. Would you straighten the pillows on the sofa wall out there? Oh, it looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there. Okay. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? There isn't really a good choice for that. No, it was stupid, sorry. Never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? No need to be perfect. We're all just human. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? I think this game has excellent sound design, and there's no way I would ever be able to match anything close to that.
After the intense set of
Perfect.
prison games,
Now then,
his house cleaning
how will you
almost
come up
feels
here and
like
clean the dishes off the
cleansing.
clear the dishes
It's
off
the
the
moment
table?
after a particularly difficult
Starting to get some
or traumatic
deja vu here.
experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and
These
eventually
chores ever end?
cohere into something meaningful.
Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the furniture chores to future you,
I know
or
that
the
Coda
future
really
chores
likes
to
this
future you.
Of all
Present
his
you
work,
wants
actually,
to smooth
this
out
was
the
the
rug
only
in the
one that
bedroom,
he
believe it or
called
not.
me up to
Trust
ask
me
me
on
to
this
come
one.
over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was
If I made this, I'd be proud of it.
mostly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Excellent sound design, though. I'm not sure if just one person could do all this. Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say it occurs to me that one's house is like one's soul. Take care of it and it takes care of you. I don't know why I felt so weird saying that. There's truth in it. Anyway, so, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Thanks. It's kind of relaxing. Oh goodness, the pillows on the couch are a real mess. Would you go over and straighten them a bit? Kind of relaxing. I really like the sound design. Question.
But
you enjoy this?
It can't last. The
No,
music
I wanna
stops,
hear
your
the sound
companion
again.
is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well.
Oh yay!
Again,
I'd love to go to the top of the hill.
Stay in the dark space for too long. You just
I
can't.
guess.
You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
There's no windows. There's no glass in the gigantic windows. It's just open. Is it always like that? Okay. Okay. That's interesting.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move.
I guess.
I really
Can't
thought
just
that
stay in
was the
one
point
place
of
for
it.
too long. You'll get bored and frustrated. Items
This
you love
one
at
gets a
members
bit
only
goofy.
prices? Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that? Wait. Right now, who do you think about that way in your life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we
About
do
halfway
it,
through the game,
but
your
how do
perspective
we do it
shifts.
effortlessly. This is easy. It is so easy. Being perfect is effortless. I think I would be a pretty good, voice actor
And you
for a
play as
character
the
like
teacher.
this.
And suddenly, you discover
Yeah,
that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. Kids should not follow their dreams. Well, let me tell you right now, if it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. I still love you. It's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Being alone must be awful. So, the yellow ones are, perfect, in quotation marks, and the gray ones are, real life, and, he's, blocking them out. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Drinking is not hurting me. If you're torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. I really need to soundproof my room. I'm so uncomfortable saying this out loud. Do you understand that you won't be happy? Okay. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? I'm just gonna do all the right ones. Haha, just kidding. Anyone who do some ecstasy after this? There is no truth, there is no path. What if I'm not a good teacher? Do what is easiest, do what is simplest, feel what is true. Something coming out of the back of the room, look out. Nothing, no one. It's coming for you, it's going to destroy you. Everyone run. Run.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one
Perfection.
of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Okay, I'm gonna do a soundtrack.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of
Perfection.
the most
Okay, I think my voice is a little loud and sharp, but it should be okay.
This one took a lot longer than all the others
Actually, I think I'm gonna make it quieter a bit. Just a bit. That's actually like 1 decibel. That's actually probably barely anything, but
for Coda to make.
well.
It was
okay.
4 months between this and the last one.
I'm not
That's
going to
twice
change
as long as
settings
it took him to
midstream.
make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex.
Using the
So
same assets,
I remember
though.
I found that a little strange at the time.
Assets are not cheap. Stage. You know when AV equipment is quality equipment when it comes in a gigantic bulletproof case like this one. Stage. Oy. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you'll be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you will start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, gain something to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello? Hello? That's it? That's not a conversation. You need to actually converse with her. Be a human being. Do it again. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that moment, but I was confident. Wait. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones bouncing off when you touch them represent people nearby. Now talk to her again. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. I'll bet you learned to lean into the pain. What are some sacrifices you've had to make? That one. You're messing it all up again. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. You do not realize how important this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Lamppost. Yes, very interesting try. I always find it interesting how Source handles lights. Find it really annoying, actually. Okay, yes,
The game
this is
ends
working.
with this eerie
This is what I like.
premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to
That's
fears of
perfect.
having
Wonderful.
to
This
perform
is
and
really
having to chase
wonderful.
success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago,
doing
where
great.
it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting
what
me
you
to
want.
connect with this person, to bring him closer. But
Okay,
what can you
creepy
do?
music.
After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Hey, maybe he was doing something else in between. Mobius tip: to play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Blind, what's going on? Oh yeah, I didn't close my eyes. Truth. There's only one way to stop it. Can't keep making these. Stopped. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. Oh.
Like I said, I was getting
I
concerned.
don't feel it anymore.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So, where's that coming from?
Keep going, keep
Then
talking.
even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's
Thought this
having
was
trouble
gonna be
iterating
easy.
on ideas, but he literally just can't
Doing
think of
it,
new
it's
ideas
working.
anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a
Stuck
person
in
will
it.
just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was
Going
that
to
kind
be
of thing.
okay.
Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Well, I'm not making games right now, because I'm playing games right now, so maybe he was playing games instead of making games. Hello? Ooh. Where did this island come from? Can't walk off. Is that a person? How lovely. Ah, I hit something. I got stuck. I got stuck. Source Engine seems to have a big problem with getting stuck. Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. I am completely out of ideas. Actually, I would be an amazing game developer, but I don't have any ideas. Oh no, what happened? Did something change? There was this machine that kept me going and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me. Start it again. Get stuck again. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. You have to take me to it. I can
If
do
the
that.
last
There's a
game
problem.
featured Coda
Started by
talking explicitly
difficult
about his
puzzle.
creative
You can
frustrations,
help me solve it.
this one turns it up to
You can
11.
find the machine. Deal?
Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's
Doesn't
a
matter
friend
what I
whose
say.
work is exhibiting
We're
signs
gonna end
of
up right.
struggle,
We're gonna end up there
frustration,
in one way or
anxiety,
another, right?
depression, even.
Deal.
And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps
Why not?
throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Because if he doesn't make games, then he'd just be doing absolutely nothing. Perfect. Come along, I'll show it to you.
Because, from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated
Here's the
he
puzzle.
was. He
What
was
do you think?
in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not
This
really
is
showing these
easy.
games to anyone, not releasing them onto the
Oh,
internet.
wonderful.
And so
You tell me how to
he
do
didn't
it?
have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had
First,
no outlet
you have
to
to-
ground himself
Yeah,
on.
first you have to open the door. Wait, actually, I meant the first one. I meant the second one, I hit the wrong button. To open the door. Okay, now what? Next, close it. Alright, what's next? Now just press the switch here. Huh, that was so
You
simple.
can't talk
Can't
yourself
believe I never
out
solved
of
this
loneliness.
before.
It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions
Completely out
and
of
the
ideas. Where
answers.
does
Then
silence
there's
come
no
from?
movement.
Low, deal.
Then there's no
Have to save it to
circulation.
its
If
feet.
all of your
There's a
anxieties are
machine that
being
kept it
channeled
going and it
into your
stopped.
work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Yeah, I guess. Wait, okay, here we are. What are you talking about? Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous, so that you love it 100% of the time. Okay, making games is simple. Aw, that feels wonderful. It wasn't true. Making games is very difficult. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. When I make games, I feel completely energized. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked
Every time I make
really
something, I
unhealthy
feel
to
better
me.
about myself.
I was watching him do this to himself. And
Just
I
never
hated it.
stop creating,
I hated seeing him
and
so
you'll never
proud.
feel bad.
It's like video games are not worth
Yeah.
this amount of
Perfect.
suffering.
That feels fantastic.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used
And
to
this
get
is
so
helping.
much joy out of seeing him create. For
Patience,
him to
you
suddenly
have
become
to trust
angry
me.
and frustrated like this
Promise this will
was the
work.
worst thing
Please
for me.
continue. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it. Always pays off eventually. Yes. More.
I
Keep
don't know.
going.
This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Okay, it is a little creepy, but I think you're blowing it all out of proportion. There is no shame, no fear, no guilt. I will be saved by my work, believe me. Oh, I believe this unquestioningly vessel. I am... Wait, what? I am a vessel for certainty. We'll be saved by my work. Incredible. That's it. I'm free. Free. Lamppost. It's a woman. That's where the crying sound was coming
But it
from, I
didn't
guess.
stop. After finishing this one,
Coda, male or
Coda takes
female?
another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Wait, no, male. Right. You said he at some point. The machine. If I remember, this one's kind of creepy. Guard. Ma'am, I'm so glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the time machine. Wait, we've captured the machines. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I went to bed at like 2 a.m., so I'm not gonna be able to read. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press. Someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, there's one more thing you should... I wanted to read that. Did you capture the machine? What can you tell us? Will it be punished? Where's the machine now? The machine, I presume?
And of course,
You stopped.
it's a machine.
Stop feeding us. Your work is keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. Those people out there, can you imagine what pain you've put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? So here's what needs to happen. You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. Apologize for leaving me. Apologize. No, nothing. Think carefully. I know how to hurt you. I've seen the thing you fear. Your work was keeping... Wait, okay, that was still part of the text. Alright, I thought that was something else because it's a different shape. Alright then, I will apologize to the people on your behalf. Ah, the press. My followers. It falls on me here to deliver bad news. The machine will not apologize to us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Or we will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Maybe the machine is Valve in this case. No. Sorry. Okay. Let us pay it retribution, or let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Follow me, we will destroy everything the machine has created. Ah, yes, this is efficient. Definitely. Coda, I'll make sure your work dies here. Coda, I'll make sure you are known forever. I didn't know what to pick. Isn't that what you're scared of? Exposed to the view of others every day forever?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that
Yeah,
I
it's
first
pretty
played this
weird.
game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that
I
Code
can't
is
go
stuck
over
in
there,
his
right?
own
That
head,
looks really
and
interesting.
that it's having a very negative
The
effect on him,
staircase.
and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games.
I should show
It
my work
might
to
get
people.
him out of isolation.
Yeah, that's what got you
And
there.
so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Maybe I should show my game on YouTube. It's very interesting. And at least other people seem to think it's very interesting.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this
And it was all
one,
meant as like a
and
tech
the islands
test,
that you just
so
played,
I'm not really
the
proud
theater,
of it.
the
or
notes, the
anything.
house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games.
Took a lot of my
I brought
time
them
though.
to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference.
Yeah, they're pretty
point,
good
but
games.
they
It's hard to
genuinely
believe
loved
that
his
one
work.
person made
There was nothing
any
for him
one
to
of
be
them.
afraid of.
Although actually I would have been able to make the most of the original, the beginning ones. With just the skill that I have now. Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
I guess.
It's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone
Sure.
really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something. I really felt like I'd done something good. Like I was a good
It's a
person.
lamppost.
Felt like there was a
Can't
friend
move the
who was in
camera.
trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
So it made you happy that he showed his work
So anyway,
without his permission.
Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
Maybe it's because you showed everyone
this
his
is
games.
June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
Just making an assumption,
So,
I think it's the
take a
last
look.
game he ever sent you. And he's made like at least 36,000 games after this. After this point. Very, very good assets.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant.
It's creepy.
It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Well, yeah, it feels like that.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that
That
all the
won't
walls
work.
of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really
my
miserable.
algorithm won't work on
The game
this.
goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
One day, maybe today, I'm gonna come into this level and I'm going to try to make the maze, like, visible. With, like, console commands.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever.
Would have loved
I
that.
had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate.
But you should find
What's the
something you
deeper
love
idea
and do it.
behind the invisible maze?
I don't think there's an
The
idea.
only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code.
That sounds
Like the
painful.
invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought.
If
or
Coda was a real
engagement.
pro, he would have
It
made
doesn't
it so
ask
that
anything
right
of me,
click
except
would
a lot
decrease
of my
the number.
time.
So left
If I
click
could have reached
increases
him
it
during
and
this,
right click
then maybe I
decreases
could have
it.
asked him,
That
but I
would
couldn't.
have been an absolute pro.
I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
On 5 points. One, 6. Yeah, see, it would have been faster to go the other way. 1, 7. Oh. Impressive. Really impressive game design. To me, at least.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
It goes too fast.
Was I
Can't
a
lock
failure
myself
for
in.
not understanding this game?
Yes.
I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand
Suddenly really
who
want to
he
make a
actually
maze-solving
was
algorithm.
and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
3 dots?
And he wouldn't.
What? What do you mean?
I just felt so strongly that
Oh,
I could have
yeah,
connected with
yeah.
him.
I
That
remember
if I
that.
could have
That appeared a
somehow
few
made his
times.
work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Many ways. Reading. Dear Davy, thank you for your interest
I'm the reason
interest
that
in my
you
games.
stopped making games.
I need to ask you to not
It's
speak
because
to
of
me
what I did.
anymore.
I poisoned it.
Really like how the music just stops at this point. Wow, that is such good assets. Is that supposed to be the sun peeking through, or is it just a light? Okay, I think that's just a spotlight. Really cool assets.
I don't think I ever
I wonder
told
at
this,
times whether you think I'm
but
making
when I
these
took your
games
work and I
for
was showing
you.
it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though
Can you tip
I
it?
were responsible for something important and valuable.
You've
And
so
the
infected my
people who
personal
played
space
them,
that it's possible
They treated
I
me like
did
I
begin to
was
plant
important.
solutions in my work
They
somewhere.
really
hidden
listened and
between
cared about what
games.
I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while
If there
I
was
had
an
that,
answer, a
I
meaning,
liked myself.
would make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give? Violating the one boundary that keeps me safe? Damn, Davey. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them? Adding lampposts?
And then you
Would you
stopped.
simply let
And I
them
didn't have
be
anything
what
left to
they
show people.
are?
I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all.
When I am around you, I
Nothing.
feel physically
Less
ill.
than nothing.
Kind of like when I go to school.
What is that?
Or actually, think about school. Not really going to school, though. Okay. You desperately need something, and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I'm frustrated or broken says more about you than it does about me. I realize that this doesn't make any sense for you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. And I do hope
I'm
that,
afraid that I did
one
something
day
really
eclipse,
stupid because
and
I
that
don't
one
like
day
myself.
you make peace with this thing that you were wrestling. And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything. Oh.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And
I'm just trapped in here
so
now.
a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry.
You could just message him.
I know I
He
screwed
can't
up.
have blocked you on everything.
If I apologize to you, truly and deeply,
Or go to his house
will
or
you start
something.
making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself.
Didn't need to
again.
violate,
I always
like,
felt okay
you
as
didn't
long
need to
as I had
violate
your work
his,
to see
like,
myself in. I mean,
whatever.
is something
Talk to
wrong
him.
with me? Because I
Yes,
know
there's
that I
something
did an
wrong with
awful
you.
thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like I'm showing people your work, but I can't
Am I moving
stop
closer to the
myself
door?
from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel
not
something
touching
again.
any
Like I'm an
controls.
addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please.
I
I'm
think what you're
fading,
looking for is a therapist.
And all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
I think what you're looking for is a therapist, not releasing people's private work on the internet without their permission. Epilogue. So is this made by Coda still? Maybe it was made afterward. Alexa, what does epilogue mean?
An epilogue or epilogue is a piece of writing at the end of a work of literature, usually used to bring closure to the work. It is presented from the perspective of within the story.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more.
So this is probably made
It's
by
like a
Coda
disease.
after looking at this. I guess.
Solution.
It's not really how trains work. Yeah, I definitely think the most powerful tool in Source is the portal. Because you can just do
Guess if someone had
things like
told
that.
me ahead of time that he just
Well, that may
really
not have been a
enjoyed
portal.
making
I
prison
don't know.
games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
Actually, I don't think the portal is used as much as
I wouldn't
think
have
it
told
is.
so many people that he was depressed. Maybe
He
he
told
just
people that.
likes making prisons.
Hey. I made like 5 iterations of the same portal map. I guess. It's actually probably more like 3 or 4.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a
Maze?
shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Well, if you go into the internet describing what you're going through, I don't think people will hate you. Unless you describe that, no. Unless you describe a crime you did or something. It's a very weird place. It's like a cave, but it has columns.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
I'm always
What
trying
now?
to fall if I can. I was trying to find places where I can fall.
I think I need to go. And
Maybe.
I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
This looks like a map that's an example for portals, but I don't think it is. Just arches. Portalless arches. I can see a seam in the skybox. Source seems to be pretty bad at making seams like that disappear. Although I don't think this probably isn't an actual like skybox, just like the space thing and one of the more beginning ones. It's like that wasn't a skybox, that was just box. Skybox is something different. Okay, the floor is rising. Okay, it stopped. I was gonna try to ride it as high as possible. Energy beam from the same one I was talking about with the space. And the consequence of using a box rather than a skybox is that you can get, well, seams potentially. And if there's any lighting and like not enough fog, then you could tell, you might be able to tell that it is a box rather than like a vast star field. And there's like the bottom of the universe. I don't even think this time that it was intentional. Not a bug. Past maze. are.
Turn back from this
It's not really a name.
You said, let me prove
This project may not have been possible without the following individuals.
Let me keep
Those people.
going.
Really should have actually read the names, but
But
I do
the
like that.
cave goes for
Turn back.
miles and
Okay.
miles and miles. And you're so
Additional things.
tired.
Those people.
But I know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
This doesn't feel like an actual thing that happened in real life. It's really unlikely. Really unlikely. Fun though. Well, Wait. Why is the stream Okay, that was probably from the credits. It was okay, I just panicked there because I'm looking at the stream output. Okay, well, I'm going to see what happens if you go up the staircase without going back to regular speed. I'll probably just stop. But,
Oftentimes,
yeah.
Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't really do that. When I finished
Once you've
my
been slowed to an absolute
recreation
crawl,
of the
door
Snake
at
game,
the top of the stairs opens.
once it
why,
was
if Coda's
pretty
not
much
showing these games
finished,
to anyone,
I just kept
why
adding
bother
stuff
opening
like
the door at all?
saves and
Well, to show you, I'm modifying
stuff.
the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the
Nope.
door for yourself.
No way. I'm just gonna keep my finger on W for the next 2 hours. Actually, at this speed, it actually looks really feasible. Okay, so AA battery can't hold down a key. I often put like a 9-volt battery or something on top of my keyboard when doing something. Okay, maybe not a 9-volt battery. Although I guess that was before I got a mechanical keyboard. Okay then, guess I'm just gonna keep my finger on W. Like this is the kind of thing that will only appear on live streams. Like no one would ever put this in a video. Well, it's not unlikely, but well, it is unlikely, but it's not that unlikely. I'm quite close. I'll just keep slowing down, of course. It's really not taking much time. It's only been like a minute or two. I got time. I really thought he would have said something by this point. like when I went back into the maze, he said something, so would have assumed he would have said something by now. Really close. I'm curious whether it'll just increase speed or just not even notice that I didn't increase the speed. Okay, I've reached the top of the stairs. Like, it's fully reachable without increasing the speed. It's only been like 4 minutes. Patience. Patience. Like, look, it's fully reachable. Oh, I probably could have jumped and then gone faster. Okay, that's just the outside.
A room that's warm and nice.
I haven't even
and filled
increased
with little
speed.
ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a
Small room
very
until
slow
I
climb
realized
to get
you
there.
can just walk through the walls. A series of lavish manuals come with the game giving you incorrect instructions. Ready, set, fish. Okay, the speed increased again. Okay, well I'm gonna try to no clip, so. Sound check. A lavish sounds fine. As best as I can get anyway. Yay, a console. Whee! No clip. Okay, so there's like nothing here, I think. Well, nothing. It's a lot of green for some reason. Interesting to see that it still has physics. But look, I get close to this and then it just disappears. Huh. Maybe I can find a skybox somewhere. In Portal 2, in the beginning one, the layout for like all the gigantic containers or whatever it was in the map somewhere. Or it was in the map, but I don't know. Whoa. What's that? Oh, there it is! I found it! I found the skybox. Yeah, so this is basically just projected onto the rest of the world. Huh. I don't know what this means. Oh. Okay. Show triggers. I'm gonna look and find the beginning of the map, let alone where else I'm supposed to go. Okay, this is it. This is oh, one. Right? Ah, there's the trigger. There's some triggers. I find it amusing how occasionally the trigger, like, texture will be backwards, but it doesn't seem to be the case here.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Yeah, it comes out a lot. Yeah, I can have both doors open at once. There's a trigger in here.
So that seems to be it, right? You
Looks
walk
like it
down
was
the
like a
corridor,
one-use
you solve the
trigger, 'cause
puzzle,
it just
you get to the
disappeared.
end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Yeah, I just walked through the walls of the room, so that won't really be necessary. I wonder how much effort this would have taken.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
Yeah.
Go ahead and see
Oh,
if you
3
can solve
dots.
it.
I just activated things in the wrong order. Amusing. Watch this. Almost nothing happened. Okay,
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So, if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
okay. So, I don't know if there's anything left in this game. That's maybe solving the maze. Okay. That was fun. Tomorrow I'm going to be streaming House Flipper. Got it on sale. Got it with the Steam gift card someone got me. Okay. Thanks for watching. Whether you watch it live or not live. Because no one watched it live, so. If you're watching this, you probably watched it not live.